This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to the first episode of Street Gears that we've done in a while. And that's because Nike has done something that took them 2 years to develop. Today we're taking a look at the Space Hippie collection. New to the channel, thank you for joining us today. Please consider subscribing, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up after. Now, usually we go over performance shoes, running with our running gears version, mostly basketball shoes, but every now and then I do have some lifestyle shoes, but it's been a while, probably a year since I devoted myself to only buying shoes specifically for performance purposes, or a shoe that's actually pushing the performance envelope with whatever tech that company comes out with. Today that happens to be Nike with what they've done with their Space Hippie collection. Now the Space Hippie collection is Nike's push at becoming more environmentally friendly, having more of a zero carbon footprint, and really doing something that is better for the planet. And this is something that Adidas has been doing for a while. If you see behind me here, this is the Parlay first version of the Adidas Boost. Parlay is a company that actually is harvesting plastic and pulling it from the oceans, from shores, really saving sea animals, saving sea life. Adidas partnered with them and uses those plastics in their shoes. As of 2021, they're going to be using their plastics in about 15 million shoes. And the thing is, with Adidas, they really put their plastics in all their shoes. There's nothing special about it. So the way Nike did it was a little bit different. They didn't partner with anybody, and they really wanted to look at how can they be more carbon footprint friendly. And the first thing I thought of was actually the AllBird Tree Dasher. That was a running shoe that came out that AllBird was very proud of, saying how it has a very low carbon footprint, and they put it there. Well, here's Nike's philosophy on how to lower their carbon footprint.
To this idea in space exploration, it's called in situ resource utilization, which is basically the idea that, like, if you're going to go to Mars, you're not going to fly concrete there and build a home, right? You're going to have to use the things you find.
Now that all sounds great, but all right, what are they using? How are they doing it? And what are they coming out with? And I'm here to show you the Space Hippie 04. Now this is the most, I guess, carbon footprint friendly, with almost a zero carbon footprint on this model.
The 04 is actually the lowest carbon footprint shoe that we've ever done. So this one is just hyper minimal. We really stripped everything.
It's the lightest, most flexible. It's actually the women's version, the 04. I was able to get this in a size 14 women's, which is a 12.5 men's, and it's actually pretty comfortable. Now, this is something that costs $130, with 1 through 3 costing about $150 or $160 in some cases. So why does it cost that much?
How long have these shoes been in the design works?
It's been about 2 years that we've been working on this project. We had to figure out what material that went into the shoes we could replace with something that had essentially zero carbon footprint, and that's trash. Anything that is headed for the landfill, if we intercept that, we bring it back into the shoes, and that's kind of like the lowest carbon footprint way we can do things.
All right, so 2 years is a long time of development. So this is something that's really cool, where it's not only the upper that is taking shape as far as being completely recycled, but what they're calling crater foam, which this is using scraps from other foams. This is using scraps from rubber, and this is the only version on the version 4 that is actually using Nike Grind on the outsole, even more adding to its carbon friendly footprint of having almost nothing. This shoe is pretty much all garbage that was going to a landfill from Nike, and Nike developed something pretty cool with it. So the other 3 are about, well, let's see.
But then the first 3, Space Hippie 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, these ones also have the recycled Zoom X in them. It's the same foam that's in the Vaporfly running shoes. And so we put that in there. So these are incredibly lightweight and really just kind of amazing all day, every day underfoot.
So that is one thing I missed out. I thought this version was going to have Zoom X, and I do want that to stand out because on the Nike kind of lettering on each version, it actually does say that I believe this has Zoom X. And there is maybe some as far as the recycled bits in the foam. But honestly, this is nothing like Zoom X. I have the Vaporfly 4, the Vaporfly Next, I have the turbos in the other room, so I felt Zoom X, and it's an amazing foam. This actually feels a lot like just a Roshe or a Presto. So that's not a bad thing. Those are comfortable shoes, but if you're getting at least this version, I had my expectations a little bit higher. So maybe I'll go after the 1 through 3 so I can really feel the Zoom X foam, which is actually pretty cool. But I think what's really neat about this shoe is the potential for what's coming in the future. When Nike first launched their Flyknit, and I do have a Lunar Grand here somewhere with their Flyknit or the runners. I'm actually looking at them right here with the Flyknit trainer. When Flyknit first came out, this is something that Nike said that this would reduce their amount of waste by about 60%, which obviously if you're using less materials, it would start to cost would come down. And eventually Flyknit went from being a premium shoe and premium materials to knit and Flyknit being on every shoe from every company, and Nike was really one of the first to really push that forward with Prime Knit from Adidas. And I think the proof of that is seeing some of the budget models on the basketball lineup all having woven, when in the past that was an elite performance technology that just came out. So you have the Space Hippie, which is all new technology that took them a long time to develop, but this is something that honestly I could see in the future costing $60-$80, something that's very friendly, something that's very I guess made for every day, where you're eliminating that waste, where Nike can actually make their high performance shoes, and then now they have their budget shoes. Very similar to like a car company such as Chevy or Toyota, where they make their truck and their sports cars, but they have their hybrids, they have their electric cars. It kind of balances things out. So they have something that looks good, is friendly for the environment, and hopefully will get cheaper. Now, as far as reviewing the shoe, it's a lifestyle shoe. Fits really comfortable. You have kind of a tongue that's offset here just a little bit. You have a really simple gray upper that personally I love. And technically each pair is slightly different with the little nuances of the material because they're made out of recycled materials. They're not dyeing this. This is the color it comes in when you put plastics with old t-shirts and other bits of recycled materials.
But the yarn is 100% recycled material. It's 25% old t-shirts. This is like just post-consumer t-shirts. And then 25% is textile scraps from the factory floor.
Okay.
And then the last 50% is recycled plastic bottles. So we took all of that stuff, we shredded it, we spun it together without using any extra heat or dye. So that's why they are the color they are. It's just that's mixed t-shirt color, right? Yeah. And that's what made the uppers.
Same thing with the midsole. You look at this and it has all these random colors and specs, and essentially all of them are slightly different. Now, I've worn this for about 2 days straight, and it's decently comfortable. It's not amazing, and coming from performance running shoes, it is a little bit less comfortable than that, so I imagine the Zoom X versions would be better. But it is starting to show some wear already, since there's not really a traditional outsole. The midsole is the outsole. This is called crater foam, and I'm excited to see what they can do with this if they start mixing in other things, maybe more purposefully, as well as adding in the supposed trash. But you got a comfortable shoe that hopefully in the future will be the new version of the Roshe, a new version of a Presto done environmentally friendly. So this is something I was kind of excited about. Not sure if I'm going to keep it. Guys, if you're interested in this, hit me up on Instagram, shoot me a message. If you guys, this is a 12.5. I'm debating if I'm going to return it, and honestly, if I'm selling it, I just want to get my money back, so there's not going to be overcharge. If you guys want this one, I'm about 90% sure I'll be passing it on, so maybe one of you guys can enjoy it. Guys, girls, if you like that video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. You can hit me down in the comments below. I do try to respond to everybody. If you want to see any other comparisons, we do have a few more performance running shoes reviews coming out very shortly. And as always, I really appreciate you guys. This is Levi Sneaker Gears, and I'll come at you later.